Stop scrolling right now. You are not going to believe what people are chanting at the Lincoln Memorial. Yes, they are literally protesting for algae. Let's dig in.
Because we just didn't see it, it didn't happen.
Just for the record, for 1.6 billion years, algae has existed in stagnant pools on planet Earth, but not during the Obama administration.
What I'm saying is that it was treated, which is what Donald Trump could have done before he invested millions of American taxpayer dollars when Americans are fighting to put food on the tables for their families.
I learned something.
Wait, did you catch that? I had to rewind it twice just to make sure I wasn't hearing things. We literally have people on national television claiming that algae, an organism that has been undefeated for 1.6 billion years, somehow magically didn't exist a few years ago because of science. Listen, regardless of where you stand politically, the mental gymnastics here are absolutely wild. It is a shallow, stagnant pool of water sitting in the middle of the Washington, D.C. heat. Any basic maintenance worker or pool cleaner will tell you that it's the perfect breeding ground for green sludge. But instead of talking about the actual mechanics of water filtration, closed-loop systems, or standard civic engineering, they turn it into a bizarre historical rewrite. It's fascinating how completely blind some folks become when they want to make a point on live TV. If you look closely at the anchor's face, you can actually see the exact moment his brain short-circuits, trying to process the logic of a politician somehow curing naturally occurring algae.
How much you weigh?
Look at the guy in the background. Things are escalating way past a few green puddles. We are talking about actual local law enforcement stepping in and making arrests right on the National Mall. What blows my mind is how the mainstream narrative completely buried this part of the story. You have individuals physically pulling up the brand new blue protective liner from the bottom of the reflecting pool and getting hauled off in handcuffs, yet you barely hear a whisper about the vandalism side of things. It is all the paint is failing and never people are deliberately destroying a multi-million-dollar federal project. When you see someone getting physically detained like this over what is supposed to be a historic national monument, you have to ask yourself why the camera crews prefer staring at the murky water instead of the actual chaos happening on the sidewalk. It is a classic case of selective outrage. They want you focused on the aesthetics of the water, not the folks actively sabotaging the property.
Blue liner coming apart. This is what we're talking about, and I'll try not to disturb anything, but just show you pieces like this flapping up from the bottom, where some tourists are even coming along and tearing them away as souvenirs.
It was supposed to be memorable in a different way when the White House fast-tracked the renovation through a no-bid contract for 14.
Hold on, did you see what that tourist just did? Look closer. They are literally reaching into the water, ripping off huge chunks of the blue liner and taking them home as souvenirs. It is absolutely insane. This was a $14 million no-bid contract meant to revamp one of the most iconic landmarks in the country, and tourists are treating it like a free gift shop. The paint was specifically chosen to give it that magnificent American flag blue reflection, but between the heavy algae treatment chemicals and people actively tearing it away, it is completely falling apart. You really have to wonder about the engineering oversight here. If a liner is flapping up from the bottom that easily, it wasn't secured properly to begin with. But honestly, the wildest part is the absolute audacity of people pulling up federal property to take back to their hotel room. It is a total disaster on both a construction level and a basic human behavior level. The entire thing is peeling away right before our eyes.
And just cleaned and opened up a month ago. Looks like nothing was done. It's real nasty.
The pool was closed for almost 2 years and underwent a $34 million renovation project.
It'd be nice if it was clearer water so that one could reflect without seeing the algae.
Okay, pause for a second. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane because history is literally repeating itself. This clip right here is from over a decade ago. Notice anything familiar? It is the exact same green, murky, algae-filled mess. Back then, they shut down the entire reflecting pool for 2 whole years and dropped a staggering $34 million on renovations. If you adjust that for today's inflation, you are looking at nearly $50 million. And what did they get for it? The exact same problem. It perfectly highlights the reality of massive civic engineering. There are no magic bullet solutions, only massive trade-offs. You put a huge, shallow dish of water outdoors in a swampy climate, you are going to get nature taking over. The fact that people are pretending this is some brand new crisis caused by current management is just totally disconnected from reality. We have the receipts right here. It was a nasty green swamp back then, and it's a nasty green swamp now, despite the millions thrown at it.
Meanwhile, crews have been removing the algae from and are also dealing with a blue paint peeling off parts of the pool's floor. Now, the president also linked the etching of 8647 into the grass on the National Mall to the alleged pool vandalism, which in new images appears bolder after the Interior Department attempted to cover up the numbers.
Now back up and pay attention to what the crews are actively trying to cover up in the grass. Someone physically etched the numbers 8647 right into the turf on the National Mall. It is completely bizarre, and the more the Interior Department tries to hide it, the bolder the numbers seem to appear in the aerial shots. What does 8,647 even mean? Nobody is fully explaining it, but it is tied directly into this massive string of vandalism hitting the area right before a major national anniversary. You have crews scrambling around, trying to clean up the green sludge, patch the peeling blue floor, and now turf repair, all while the media tries to spin the entire thing as just a simple maintenance failure. It is wild how the narrative shifts depending on who is talking. They completely omit the fact that deliberate sabotage and strange numerical messages are being carved into the landscape. It is not just a pool maintenance issue. There is a coordinated level of destruction happening right under everyone's noses.
Back for maintenance, and anything like that will be addressed if it's a problem. For now, pumps are working around the clock to push oxygen into the water in hopes of preventing even more algae growth. And
look at the sheer scale of the cleanup operation right here. You have an entire team of workers out there from dawn until dusk, physically vacuuming up massive amounts of neon green goo. They are running heavy-duty oxygen pumps around the clock, just trying to keep the water from turning completely toxic. It is a logistical nightmare. When a multi-million-dollar federal installation is reduced to guys with pool vacuums fighting a losing battle against microscopic plants, you know the original design was fatally flawed. The problem is they are pulling their water supply straight from the nearby tidal basin, which is already packed with algae spores. Unless they tear the whole thing down and build a massive, closed-loop underground filtration system with automatic floor cleaners, they are going to be stuck doing this exact same tedious cleanup every single summer. It is a massive drain on resources and a perfect visual metaphor for government inefficiency. Just an endless, expensive loop of vacuuming up green sludge while completely ignoring the root cause. All right, that is a wrap on this absolute mess. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the Lincoln Memorial chaos, and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives. Catch you next time.